Hello, 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 and
Nice
welcome
intro.
to the Consistently Rolling Show. We're gonna start off by saying how you doing, Lil?
Good, busy, but good. Can't
Okay.
can't complain. Nobody listen anyway.
I guess we'll start off with the disclaimer of this is me and Enlil's opinions, feelings, thoughts about different things. We see things different, so we wanted to adapt or gravitate to different thinking people. Please do not judge us upon our heart. We look these informations or these certain stories up and we find them interesting. We would love for people who have these different stories to come and give us your comments and questions and statements and answers and everything else. Again, do not judge us upon our hearts. This is just our thoughts. And if you love us, please like, comment, subscribe. Anything else in there?
Oh, that's it. That's it. Hey, you hear anything else about the war over there in the other country? I haven't heard, it just went quiet. Never heard anything else about it.
Just a little bit,
Oh,
but
okay.
I haven't heard anything. No, I'm gonna say no. I'll say that.
Okay.
Not the
All
way
right.
that,
Just curious.
yeah, not the way that we should. But what I did hear, I guess, the circulation of going around now is, the government is about to confirm that we have aliens. I haven't heard anything yet, but I was
Yeah,
told
nobody has.
one.
There's one other oh one other clip that came out. They caught several objects on a stealth Navy ship on radar. That came out by the movie director. His name was oh wow, I just watched a video on him too. He made it. He's the one that's releasing all the videos. But no, I haven't heard anything either. I've been all over TikTok and Facebook and all the medias and stuff. I even poked around in the dark web a little bit, and it's kind of nonchalant about it as well. I guess they're really waiting to see what these powers to be are going to come out with. What is the next show or the major next distraction? Bet as we go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I feel like it's a hoax. Like I just feel like it's
Yeah,
something
I agree.
to get our attention to see if we're really afraid, to see if we're scared, or anything like that. But that's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah. I agree. I agree totally. It's another distraction. It's another thing that they want to give us that we're so anxiously waiting for. This is why they had it last, because everybody's anxious to hear what if did that the final contact or the alien invasion. But it's another distraction. My curiosity is that what is the distraction about? I mean, it's just everything. The whole UFO thing is a distraction. I mean, on one hand, if you do your little research, if you want to get technical or a little bit into a little history about the alien phenomenon, you want to get into it. You want to talk about aliens? Well, they already here. They've been here. They're the ones that give us the technology that we're using today. They're the ones that are giving us the technologies, the weapons, and everything else. So the aliens been here. When it started with the whole Roswell accident and everything else. Because like literally in my 52 years of being on this planet, I have experienced literally from sticks and stones to cell phones, literally overnight. And I always question, even as a young man when the cell phones first came out, where do we get this technology from? It's like a stone throw. It's just like it happened overnight, literally, to me. I can go way back on you guys. I can go back on the 8-track that was in the car. 8-track tape that you played inside your car cassette in your car. That's how old I am. Now we have MP3s, MP4s, and now we have this streaming. Look at this technology we're using now. Where did we get that from? Wasn't here 50 years ago. But all of a sudden, boom, here we are. And of course, how the government is. They come out with something new, some type of new technology. It's been here 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. So yeah, that's my intake on the whole disclosure with the government. and we have to ask ourselves the question: why now? After all these years of keeping it a secret, you and lying profusely throughout all history about this whole UFO, why now?
Yeah.
Like, come on, the government, our government just not gonna wake up one morning and go, you know what? We're going to tell the public the truth. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Because the day that happens, they're going to lose their control. Because we won't need them anymore.
Yeah, I understand
So
that.
that's my whole thing on the UFO phenomena. Disclosure is just a distraction. Like COVID was nothing about COVID to me was nothing about COVID. It was more about the vaccine. It's free. Vaccine's free. Let's see if we can make chemo free or vaccinations for some type of illness free, HIV, whatever, free. Let's make that free. They'd be more convinced, and then people may be more convinced to go take the COVID vaccination. But no. Matter of fact, they even giving money away for the COVID vaccination. They got a lottery, different states. They already announced their first $1 million winner. So, hey, I don't know.
Announced $1 million winner for what?
The COVID what state was that had the $1 million contest lottery? I'm not contest lottery. They had, you go get your COVID shot, you get a ticket. The jackpot winner was the grand prize was $1 million. The other prize, consolation prize, like 50,000, 100,000 different prizes like that. They were winners.
Somebody won that? I didn't hear that. I mean, I've seen the trinkets that they're asking people to do to get the COVID vaccine, but I didn't know that they had a winner already.
Had a $1 million and other constellation winners. They did. I'm just shaking my head about it.
Yeah, so then this brings the question of why aren't they giving let's see, chemotherapy for cancer away for free? Or
exactly.
I mean, people who are getting their limbs cut off but due to diabetes, like why don't we just make healthcare free all the way around? If that's
exactly.
what we do.
Exactly. Amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. But but the whole back to the topic, the whole the UFOs, the disclosure, they're gonna tell us the aliens are here. If you guys want to look up Project Bluebeam, that would tell you more than enough about the whole disclosure. Matter of fact, you know what Project Bluebeam is? It's about the U.S. government was going to stage an alien invasion, and they were going to use holograms to give off like UFOs in the sky and everything. Well, I mean, they already did it at one of the Michael Jackson concerts. They used Project Bluebeam. At a couple of other concerts, they used at one of the Super Bowl games. They used Project Bluebeam. There was a hologram, and it looks so realistic.
I've seen them do it before, like when they did it with the Dr. Dre and Snoop bringing Tupac back, and so there's strong evidence that they have used it. Now, of course, it isn't as great as what the government or whoever may have to make it seem very real, but
Right. Another part of the blog that I was reading off of the government website is that when if they do this disclosure, I'm suspecting in that disclosure, because let's say about 45, 50 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, the military came out with this the Black Manta or the Black Ray, or the BRT-3, the triangle-shaped anti-gravity aircraft that the United States military made, but they abandoned that project because it cost too much. Well, after that, we start seeing these triangle crafts all around the world, everywhere. Photos, videos, outer space, underwater, triangle craft. My suspicion is that if they come out with this disclosure, it's going to be something on that. Like, hey, remember that project we abandoned many years ago? Yeah, we didn't abandon it. We've been flying around these triangle crafts, and yes, we discovered anti-gravity propulsion, and yes, it's been us. You guys can see it in the night sky. Like the like back in what was that 2002, 2004, the Phoenix Light in Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
with a very large triangle-shaped craft. Thousands of people, including pilots, police officers, and military personnel, saw this giant triangle UFO over Arizona. Okay, and Arizona's a very popular place because you have Vegas and everything out there with the casinos. Everybody saw this and stuff, and even pilots. One of the famous pilots, famous actors, was in his private jet, and he saw it from his private jet while he was flying. So, and then it disappeared. The giant triangle spacecraft. So, my suspicion with the disclosure, military will come out and say that, yeah, we've been finding those things around. It's not all of us, but some of us. That's what's going to happen. So we're going to wait and see on that part.
We shall see. Like I said, I think it's just all a hoax. Let's talk about something else that could be or could not be a hoax. I did a little thing on the Mandela effect. And I've come to realize the things that I knew or grew up in knowing aren't the same as they are today, or it's just never happened. It never happened. Misinterpreted things that were said, or it's just totally different. Period. For example,
Go ahead. You might want to explain to the listeners what the Mandela effect is. Like, its origin in history, or you're not really sure?
So the Mandela effect is about a man named Nelson Mandela, who from the history books, he was a very who was he again, Gibson? I want to say it correctly.
He was a prominent speaker, a leader in the country, Nelson Mandela. Okay, the Mandela effect it stems around his death. Okay. We observed around his death and his arrest.
So, and like in the 1980s, all right, he was in jail, and we were told, or a lot of people believed or remember, that he died in the 1980. But he got out of jail, and I think about maybe 2000, if I'm not mistaken, he died. Let me make sure I get that correct of when he exactly died. He got out of jail 2013. So he got out of jail and he died. But a lot of us, including me, can recall when they said that he had died in jail. So that is the Mandela effect, right?
Yes.
All right.
Well, okay. So let me break it down to you a little bit more about the Mandela effect. Okay, it stems around his death, but that's not why they call it the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is a time. Okay, if you understand dimensions and time, they're saying that there was a merge in time. We merged dimensions. The reason why we merged dimensions and things slightly changed, like the recalling of his death, the spelling of a certain word, the saying of a certain song, something like that. Very subtle hint, little things. The reason why that effect was brought up, and we call it Mandela effect, because we started noticing it after the Mandela's death. The reason why it was because there are two projects that were going on back in the day. One, it was CERN in the particle collider in Geneva, Switzerland, and two, it was the Philadelphia project test was involved with the United States Navy. The Philadelphia project was portals. They can send a whole ship with a full crew through a portal and back during the Philadelphia experiment. CERN, if you guys are familiar with the particle collider in Geneva, Switzerland, that thing can open up portals as well. Well, according to the Mayan calendar, we were supposed to have been gone like 2013, 2012 or something like that. And the operators of CERN knew of this, of the Mayan calendars, and fired CERN up. Announced to everybody that had no idea this was going on, when they fired up CERN, the world, according to theorists, the world was literally destroyed, but we got bumped into another dimension. This dimension that we're in now was slightly different than what dimension we is now. Like there are multiple dimensions. Right now, I am wearing a black shirt. In the next dimension, I'll be wearing a white shirt. The next dimension after that, my shirt will be blue or orange, and so forth and so forth. This is how these dimensions work. So when CERN was fired up, we were bumped into another dimension because of the Mayan calendar. So this is why everybody was confused about 2012. It was supposed to be actually be 2020, or 2021, and everybody's confused. And right around this time that this all was happening, this is when the whole Mandela thing took place. People were like, wait a minute, because his birthday came up, and people was celebrating his birthday, but people were like, wait a minute, he isn't dead, he's alive. Like, yeah, no, he's dead. So people start researching, and that's when they call it the Mandela effect. It started at that point. So today, if everybody's listening, if you were a kid, and let's say Captain Crunch was spelled a certain way, you remembered it off the top of your head, like you say it every day, and then you look at today and like, wait a minute, something's missing, or the captain's not wearing a hat, or the captain used to wear glasses, but he's not wearing glasses now. Or let's say Mickey Mouse had suspenders back in the day, but today you know is that you cannot find Mickey Mouse with suspenders. Or Speed Racer, the Mark V, he had a pet monkey name. It was Trixie, and I can't remember the pet monkey name. But then today, Speed Racer never had a pet monkey. You know what I mean? That is called the Mandela effect. I even thought that I was affected by the Mandela effect because on my birthday this year, I swore I was turning 53. I knew I was turning 53. My kids told me, no, you're turning 52. And I'm like, what the F? You know, so that is what the Mandela effect is. You can go on the internet and find a little test. You can Google this as well. But it all started with Nelson Mandela because we weren't sure. I remember him dying in jail because he was arrested in the country he was in because he had $3,000 in his pocket. It was against the law to walk around in that country with that much money in your pocket. Him and his daughter was together. That's why he was arrested. His daughter fought hard to get him out of jail because of that. And because he was a prominent speaker, his daughter went to the people and to get him out of jail. They went to the police station. They burned it down. It was a big riot. It was a big war because of his death, because he died in jail. Most people speculated that the government had something to do with his death because he had a speech they wanted to do, and it was going to free that country, and they did not want to do that. So they killed him. And they falsely arrested him because he had $3,000 in his pocket, which was against the law in their pocket. I mean, at that time. So you also do your research on that as well. But then again, he was out of jail. He was in the, according to other people, they saw him march. He did it in 2013 when he got out of jail and he passed away from some type of illness, comfortably at his home. I'm like, no, he didn't. He died in jail. I can remember his daughter crying on the news. I'm watching her crying about her dad passing away in jail. She said he was murdered because he was arrested because he had $3,000 in his pocket. Like, oh my God. Like, that's what I think you remember that. So, you know, it's kind of crazy, but if you're not really into this, it's going to seem like it's come out of left field, but do your research. The information's there.
Like simple things that we're not paying attention to. Like, let me see. I don't know. When I grew up, Mickey Mouse had suspenders. Now he doesn't. Like, the Pillsbury Doughboy used to wear a blue tie around his neck. Now he wears a white. Yes. Like, just little simple things, just little subtle things, and it could be things that just people just changed. But one famous thing that all of us know is like the Luke Cage, Luke, I am your father, and now it says no, I am your father. So I mean, just those subtle things that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and in order to understand the Mandela effect, you have to understand a little bit about physics, you know, portals, times, dimensions. I mean, it's, you know, just learn a little bit about it, and then you be able to get a grip on what actually is the Mandela effect. And again, the reason why it stems around Nelson Mandela, because during his birthday, people going to celebrate his birthday thought that he was alive when he was actually dead. And this what caused this whole distortion, and everybody started noticing different things, and then they named it after him, the Mandela effect. So just, you know, do a little research. It's right there, you know, plenty of information.
I don't know, that I think it made me like try to figure out if I'm going through it and I'm 30 something years old, it made me just go into the theory of, well, I wonder the older people that are kind of losing their memory, is that what they're going through? The Mandela effect?
Could be.
Like,
It
are
could
they?
be. It's a very subtle. When we go through dimensions, like if you go into like string theory, okay, that string is like really thin. Like the next dimension to us is very thin. Like I can give you an example. You're at home and your house is haunted. Well, technically, it may not be dead people haunting the house. It could be the voices of somebody living in the same house that you're in, but you're in two different dimensions. That's how
Hmm.
thin that line is between you and next to you. So if you hear a bump upstairs, and you might, oh man, it's the ghost, but maybe it might be the occupant that's actually living in your house, and what the noise you make, they may hear it, and they are calling you a ghost
Hmm.
because you both are bumping that very, very thin line between dimensions. Um, it's the same thing with the UFO phenomena. Is that that's why we call them interdimensional beings, um, or interdimensional phenomena, because these UFOs ain't coming from across the galaxy. They might be in the next dimension. They may be us, many dimensions over. They got technology that can jump from timeline to timeline. And this is why they always buzzy in pictures or disappear at the blink of an eye, like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness monster. These things come in and they come out. Um, there have been some cases Bigfoot will go behind a tree and be gone. We're talking about a creature that's freaking 7, 8 feet tall, 800, 900 pounds, that disappear behind a little thin tree. So that explains, dimensions. So that's how, and with the Mandela effect, it affected the whole entire world. Nobody that's listening, nobody on this planet has not been affected. We
I
all been affected. We
don't
just
know,
don't
because
know.
these younger ones are looking at us. Well, the younger ones that I talked to, a couple of them, I had looked at me like, "Are you crazy? Like this always been like this?" And I'm looking
Well, they're
like,
not knowledgeable.
"No, it
That's why.
hasn't." So yeah, I get that part.
Yeah, they're not knowledgeable, and it does. If you're not knowledgeable, this does sound like some type of science fiction movie or something off the wall. It does. But um, but it exists when we all were affected. Now every single one of us. You just have to find that little subtle hint. You know, it may be your license tag on your car. It might end with a one, now it ends with a two. Like I never noticed that before. As you
Mm,
think about it. But so it's interesting. It's something definitely to get into.
yeah. So that's what I mean. The reason why I brought those couple of subjects up, that I did about the aliens being real, or the government actually supposedly making this statement about them being real, which I haven't heard anything yet. The Mandela effect, was because, to be honest, I have quietly enjoyed TikTok. And I know that everybody during the pandemic has been on TikTok, but I don't know if everybody has been on the consciously woke TikTok. They really have people that actually dig and give you this information for people. I mean, you can't ignore it. Um, I have learned things from my history to different gods to, like you said, the walking through different dimensions. Like legitly these things happen to people, and I wanted to know if you guys have actually has your algorithm actually opened you up to these people, because these people are actually, they talk some good stuff. Some of them you like, I don't know, but you do your research, you find out that they talking some really good stuff. And I wanted to know what you guys' opinions were about it, or yours also, and Lil.
Yeah, it's called the 2080 effect. 20% of the population are like you and I. 80% of the population are people who don't want to hear it, or they're interested in it but don't want to bother with it, don't have time for it, whatever, whatever, whatever. So when and that's the government's problem. They want to keep it at the 20-80%, because as long as 80% of the population are going, oh, we don't believe in that. Just give me my beer on Friday nights and I'm good to go. As long as you got those 80% like that, then there would never be a disclosure. There would never be a truth. There'll never be an awakening, because we're here on this planet and this dimension supposedly be as a collective mind, but we're all separated, and we're all separated by the most uneducated, dumbest things that man can come up with. So until we come together as one race of beings, we're not going to get any further than this conversation. Really not, because like I said, 80% of the population, they don't want to hear this. They don't want to see it. They don't want to talk about it. They think we're crazy. They think I got my tinfoil hat on. Oh, there's no evidence. There's no proof. They say these things, and then we have that separation again. Kind of sort of like everything else going on in the world.
I mean, I get it. I understand, but I just wanted to see if anybody else was paying attention to these things, because for me, TikTok, I was not into, haven't been into. I see my little kids do their little dances. I may do a couple of them with them. It's nice, a little bit nice, funny, blah, blah, blah. But then to actually go in depth and see all the things that people are just talking about, which on one hand, I will say, I didn't like TikTok because my kids were into it extremely too much for me. But then now that I'm looking into different things, I see the things that they're kind of learning, and I'm kind of like quite happy that I know that they sit and they watch some of these, what are they called?
Yeah.
People who do these stories. So I'm kind of quite grateful for that. So that's all I wanted to know, if anybody had any information on that.
And speaking about that, touch on that a little bit with today's kids and their social medias and everything's going on. You and I, we were raised up in a different era. Where we could go outside, play in the creek, go around, ride our bikes in the neighborhood, do different things like that. Today's children can't do that. If I lived in a certain area where I didn't want my kid outside, he'd be in the house on the internet. Much as I don't want him or her to, I'm like, it's sad that we have to house our kids and imprison them in a very subtle way, where we can't really take them out anymore because of society, with everything going on and stuff. Oh.
It's a fear monger, if you ask me. You got to think about the fact that now we don't fight anymore. We use weapons. Nobody knows how to verbally communicate, because if you want to be technical, for me, I'm not going to say that this is everybody, and I'm not going to put this as a stigma on everybody. But for me, it's a bunch of little children or hurt little children trying to be adults. So therefore, there is no talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm an adult now. I'm that kid that I'm grown now, so I'm going to do what it needs to be done. But so for like you said, for your children to be home, you got parents like me that are afraid that stray bullet may hit my child, or or the scare tactic of now is so many diseases that I don't want to take my cat out there. They might get coronavirus through the air, or whatever the case may be. I mean, but it is very, 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 very important to try to figure out a way for your kids to do some type of activity outside the air in natural habitat. It's good for them. The sun is great for them. The to hear the water is calming to their spirit. Like we do need to get back into our roots of being outside. I get it. Technology has made it very convenient and very comfortable for a lot of things, but we definitely do need to try to figure out a way and heal our little children within ourselves, so that we can get back outside.
Right, exactly, and stuff. Oh man.
Anything else you want to talk about today, Elo?
No. There's one thing I'm gonna touch on. I just got I get a lot of news feed coming through my timeline, stuff like that. So I'm gonna send it to you when I get a chance. So I'm reading this here, and it says and it's kind of interesting. Maybe I just want to throw it off the top a little bit. A 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl broke into a home, found weapons, including an AK-47, and had a shootout with sheriff deputies in Valsa County, Florida. The 14-year-old girl was shot. She's fighting for her life. And the 12-year-old boy was not harmed, but yet he suffered from extreme case of diabetes. Also, they both ran away from a foster care. So this is something you and I need to talk on again about children of today, and what's going on with our kids. Why, in God's name, would a 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl break into a home, find weapons, and get to a shootout with 8 sheriff deputies in Florida or anywhere? Like, what is going on with our children? We are facing a serious problem, more serious than the COVID. This war is not about this war that's on us. They are targeting our kids. And I would like to get on that about the juvenile system, and about the children today. I want to get on a good topic with you on that. Maybe Friday, something like that. We're gonna talk about that later. But that just came across my feed. Somebody brought that to my attention. And I think that as a father of 9, I mean, I'm like how does that happen and why is that happening?
Mm-hmm.
It's
I mean, I will say I found out this as far as children. Hold on one second. So I will say this that I found out. Do you know, or at least I gotta do some more research about it, but it makes perfect sense. Do you know that you do not have custody of your children until you like go to become a custodial parent in front of the judge?
Yes.
How
you not know that? You're given a receipt and a birth of delivery when you deliver your kids.
Understand that. But you know what I'm saying? They give me the child that came out of my womb, and I allowed them to call me. Wait a minute, I allowed them to call me mother, but all these years they don't belong to me.
No, nobody.
So basically, I mean, on one aspect, I can't quite understand because you are your own individual person. You get what I'm saying? And I don't look at you as a property, but as my child. You're my child.
Yeah, that's it. You're a guide, a teacher. You are a person who will guide your child to be an adult, a predominant citizen of this country or anywhere for that matter. So yeah, that is your child, but you have no ownership at all of that child.
Isn't that crazy?
So a 5-year-old
looking at it like that, the government or whoever, because I at this point I can't tell you who is in charge of all this. They feel like since they paid for this earth, they own even you.
Yes, they own all of us. That's why we have Social Security cards. This is why we have driver's license. This is why we have birth certificates. And you issue a thank you letter, which is called a death certificate when you die. How about that? Thank you for your services. We'll see you again in 40 days. Yes.
That's not even funny. That's not even cool to me.
It's fucking hilarious.
That's not even cool to me. Like,
it was hilarious. Did that open up your eyes to who's actually running the world, right? Okay. When y'all ready, we go to that later.
That's just redundant to me because in hindsight, you hear this is why people say, especially people who go through who have to go through the struggle, they ask the question of why am I here? I ain't even asked to come here. I ain't even asked for this, and I'm going through all this. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the religious aspect and all that stuff come in at. But we're gonna put a pause in this for now, and we will pick this back up on Friday because that's where we're gonna start at right there. So I thank you all for joining us. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please, please, please come join in on the conversation. Start starting Friday, we will have a live call-in chat that you guys can call in on, ask questions or anything else. Anything else that you want to close out with and live?
That will be it. And see you guys on Friday. Yeah.
All right. See you Friday. Bye-bye.